I'm Klaus Giebert, the business developer for wireless modules in Europe. In our current daily life, most users consider wireless technology given and available everywhere. That was not always the case. Only around 100 years ago, wireless communication did not exist at all. And only 30 years ago, the first usable cellular phones arrived in Germany. From there on, the features and data rates constantly improved while price for use drops. This is a great situation for normal customers, but it's a nightmare for most professional users. The dark side for them starts once they are installing in field. In less than 2 decades, at least 2 technologies like Modacom or WiMAX disappeared completely in Europe. Both were claimed to be the future for wireless communication once. Comparing this to the situation for customers like in railway use, any change is a nightmare and requires very special certification. Besides the huge involved cost, it's a long-lasting process. Therefore, railway operators try to reduce updates needed to their systems. To help there, the best point to start is consulting and recommending while the initial design takes place. Special knowledge is mandatory for RF design and installation. So right from the initial decision, Advantech and our partners can help you in mastering the challenges for new designs and upgrades. In our team today, we have Jackie Chen, our product manager for wireless solutions, who will introduce you to our product capabilities and the integration support offered by Advantech. Raul Gonzalez from DECRA will cover all the additional certification topics you need to consider before selling any of your products in case you integrate wireless technologies. Upcoming speaker first is Jackie Chan covering advanced capabilities on wireless right now.
Hello, I'm Jackie from Advantech. Later, if you have any problem about our presentation and its introduction, please write your problem and we will answer your question online. Okay, as you can see, there are so many kinds of applications in IoT and the Industry 4.0. The challenge is how to connect all these devices and machines, how to control them and get the necessary data. Some applications need high throughput, some need mobility, and some need power consumption. So we need different kinds of wireless technology as well as traditional hardware infrastructure to meet all our customers' requirements. Not all companies are familiar with wireless solutions out there. For example, what is reasonable wireless connection performance? What kind of antenna is suitable? How to get RF-related certifications? All these things have their own associated problems and costs in each country. Many customers also face the critical issue when implement this wireless solution. Most industry products need to offer longevity support, but it's hard to get a stable and reliable wireless solution off the shelf in the market. Wireless implementation will need hardware, software, RF certification experts for proper integration. Advantech is a wireless module product line already incorporated with all these necessary wireless module solutions. Our solution covers indoors and outdoors, from fixed to mobile, from the short to long distance, and from the high throughput to low power consumption. We support main wireless technology on the market, including the Bluetooth Wi-Fi for indoors, and the 3G, 4G GPS for outdoors and the mobility application. We have standard mini PCIe and the new M.2 form factor module type for different platform design requirements. We also have many wide temperature module solutions for specific industry requirements. We offer wide temperature wireless module solution EWM W190, W195, and W196, made by a qualified manufacturing process, have 11 AC and support -40 to 85-degree operating temperature. Whether mini PCIe or new M.2 platform, this high-quality wireless module solution will help for military, smart city, and ruggedized application. For long-distance, high reliability, and the big data requirement, the low-power WAN should be the right solution. We have LoRa NB-IoT throttle-down type module solution for new design with MCU plus sensor. We also have mini PCIe type NB-IoT EWM NB147 module for ongoing platform design. Circuit board may be exposed to the moisture, salt, chemical, and the temperature change, so must perform in a range of environments. Conformal coating protect electric components from these conditions and prevent the board from corroding. In order to apply robust and reliable industry wireless solution, we offer a conformal coating service for our EWM module solution to keep board working under a rigorous environment. For the embedded market, most platforms, no matter you use ARM or x86, they still reserve a standard mini PCIe connector as the wireless connection solution interface. We have total solution from Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz to 11AC 2x2 combo BT module solution. For new system design, the M.2 will be the next generation main interface. We also offer all kinds of configuration to fulfill all necessary requirements. For ultra-thin type design requirement, throttle-down type module solution should be the right choice. All these Wi-Fi modules have already passed the CE/IEC FCC-RF certification. Some modules already have the worldwide regulation report. For mobility and high throughput related applications, the 4G LTE will be the main mature technology in the market for years. We will keep developing no matter mini PCIe or new M.2 342 KB WAN solutions. From cost performance application, we think LTE Cat 4 and Cat 6 should be good enough for most real-field applications. Of course, the higher throughput solution like Cat 9, Cat 11 will be available soon. For some area or country, they will stop the 2G, 3G service soon. So some applications do not need high throughput but need mobility. The LTE Cat 1 plus GPS should be the right solution for this kind of application. We also have the GPS module solution from pure GPS to multi-mode GPS and even GPS plus G sensor. All these solutions support wider temperature operating for most outdoor application requirements. In addition to apply the GPS, 3G, 4G wireless LAN, Bluetooth, and other wireless products that meet the industry application. We are also committed to providing a variety of wireless communication design service. The wireless system still needs software integration and antenna, so learning how to pass and obtain the different wireless certification in various countries is a key concern for our customers. Our professional wireless product team offers a range of wireless services, including software development, antenna selection, and wireless communication application over efficiency of your wireless system. That's our full range professional wireless design service. Like the efficiency of wireless communication, like on-site environment disturbance, poor signal reception, wrong antenna selection, and it's not easy to integrate without proper test. The RF certification and the antenna performance related issues should be verified by RF test equipment. Most customers do not have a dedicated RF team and the related RF measurement instrument, like a wireless communication isolation room and the network analyzer. Advantech 11 team, we offer professional RF technical support also. We also have a certification lab partner. We work very close. And the stretch partner lab, DECRA, will introduce more detail about the wireless certification.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm going to take this part of the webinar just to show you a quick overview how the steps you have to follow to be in compliance with European and American requirements when you are using mainly focus an embedded module, a pre-approved embedded module. Okay, we will start first with a quick introduction about DECRA. It's an overview of the company, and then go to European and USA requirements. Okay, DECRA is a worldwide testing and certification organization. We are present in many sectors, starting from consumer products, industrial technology, source information, automotive, retail, and so on. We can provide services in a complete portfolio for safety, EMC, wireless, type approval for radio products and safety worldwide, and for consumer products also. Inside, a part of this regulatory testing capabilities, we have also what we call industry certification, like typically is the Bluetooth SIG or the Wi-Fi Alliance or PTCRB for US carriers and many others that the industry is demanding to ensure the quality of the products. Okay. With regard to cellular capabilities, it is one of the key topics here in the Advantech modules. We are able to work with 2G, 3G, LTE, the new LTE machine-to-machine communications for Cat-M1 and NB-IoT, as well as other short-range testing capabilities like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or NFC or wireless charging. Okay. In safety area, we have a strong expertise, especially in consumer products, since DECRA is at the initially of the testing and certification services in Netherlands and China and Taiwan. Okay. And finally, a new service we are playing is the cybersecurity. Now in the Internet of Things environment, companies are demanding to make sure to avoid any security breach. So we are able to perform certification as well as security analysis upon any demand of the customer. And we also provide certification services in more than 200 countries around the world. Okay. We have capabilities in Asia, in China, Taiwan, and Japan, in Europe, in Spain, Germany, Italy, and North America, Middle East, and South America. We are a worldwide company with locations, labs in worldwide. So let's focus in the main topic. It's requirements. Okay, we will start with Europe. For Europe, when we are talking about CE mark, the first thing I want to highlight is that CE mark is a broad concept. Okay, we work with the radio products, and we are always thinking in radio equipment directive, okay, because it is specific for radio product. But when you have to place the CE mark in a product, you need to take into account all the directives that are affecting to these products. For instance, if I'm doing a glucose meter with Bluetooth, this product will be subject to radio directive, but as well as a medical equipment directive. And you cannot place the CE logo until you are able to fulfill all the applicable directives. So the first step is to identify which are the applicable directives. For any typical radio product, at least you will apply for the radio and at least the reduction of hazardous substance, ROS. Okay, ROHS. Depending on the functionality, maybe other directives might apply or not, okay? So this is the point number one that we need to clarify or to make sure before starting. We are going to focus in this presentation in the interest of time only in radio products certification, the radio directive, okay? The radio directive is recently new, it's 2 years old, and it's a substitution of the former R&TTE directive. It was the former radio equipment directive. And the major change between the former and the new directive is that they have included the scope of the kind of equipment included in the directive. In this case, the radio include also radio determination devices, wireless power transfer, and equipment working below 9 kHz, that in the past they were outside of the scope of, they were not considered radio equipment, okay? In the same way, this directive excludes specific equipment for marine equipment, airborne, amateur radios. Also, they are radio equipment, they are not inside of the scope, but they do not have to be compliant with the requirements, okay? Basically, the radio equipment directive specifies 3 essential requirements. The first one is health and safety. It's basically electrical safety and RF exposure. EMC, electromagnetic compatibility, and RF. And there are some additional requirements, like for instance, for cellular devices, is the single charger compliance for smartphones and so on. But the key point are the three one, okay? And when you have to be compliant, you have to be compliant against these essential requirements, okay? Basically, it's quite let's say, open, the directive. You say you need to be safe, you need to be respectful with with the spectrum, and you need to do not cause interference. How a vendor knows how it's compliant or not? Vendors has to use what we call the harmonized standard. In the same way, the European Union published in the official journal a list of harmonized standards. Basically, a vendor should have to go to this list. This list covers, let's say, the most typical cases, select the applicable standards, test against them, and testing against these harmonized standards, the directive gives you presumption of compliance, okay? It gives you presumption of compliance against the red directive. That's it, the same procedure as we have been following with the other directives in Europe, okay? What has been the problem with red directive? Nowadays, not too much, but 1 or 2 years ago is what the directive becomes in force, but there were not essential, not harmonized standard ready yet, okay? So it was a headache in the past. Now, hopefully, for the most common devices like Wi-Fi, cellular, NFC, Bluetooth, short-range devices, there are already harmonized standards, so it's not very critical, okay? It's something that we can do without any problem. In a couple of years ago, vendor has to go to a notified body because there were only standards in draft, but now they are published, so this is not a big matter. In terms of change between the former directive and the new one, the major change has been with regard to immunity. In the past, it was requested immunity up to 2.7 gigahertz, and now it is requesting immunity up to 6 gigahertz. For RF testing, most of the standard has been revised to include receiver performance in order to increase the quality of the receivers. And with regard to safety, the standard, the EN 61950/1, which is the typical standard for IT equipment, is going to be replaced by 62368/1. Okay. As I was commenting at the beginning, hopefully the most typical equipments have already harmonized standard. Anyway, You can check the list. There are more than 350 working items open in ETSI. ETSI is the organization, the European organization that develops the standards, okay? And the European Union is continuously reviewing and improving, because this process to adapt to RED has been a little bit nightmare. Many of the standards were closed, not totally complete, or with some pendant topics that now they are addressing, okay? When it comes to the certification procedures, as I told you before, we look for standards, harmonized standards, we perform the testing, and now we have to perform the certification. For the certification procedures in European Union, we have two, let's say, options. The first one is the what we call declaration of conformity. It's the Annex II in the directive. Okay. In this case, it's the vendor who takes the responsibility and perform the testing, review the testing, compile the documentation, sign the declaration of conformity, and store all the technical documentation in company records. This procedure is possible only when there is a harmonized standard published in the official journal in the European Union. What's happened here is that, as I told you before, for Wi-Fi, cellular, and most typical radio technologies, they are already harmonized. So this procedure is possible, okay? The second procedure I will talk later is what we call the notified body. It is mandatory when there is no harmonized standard, okay? You can do, even if there is harmonized standard, you can always go to a notified body, but it's not mandatory. The key point here, when you perform the assessment and the testing, especially when you are using an embedded module, is that in European Union, there is no modular approval formal procedure like we have in US, and we will see later. In European Union, you need to analyze the compliance of the full equipment. The full equipment, the final equipment, is an equipment with a radio module. So in terms of the documentation compilation analysis, all the documentation must be taken into account, even the module, because we are going to leverage the testing from the module. That's fine, but we will need to take into account the module in our evaluation, okay? And when vendor is compiling the documentation, vendor should have the module information in the technical documentation. Because again, as I told you before, there is no modular approval in Europe. So from a certification point of view, the device is a device with a radio, no matter if the radio is implemented with a chipset or with a module. From the radio point of view, we need to analyze the full compliance. What's happened? We are not going to do again the testing for the module because it has been already done by the vendor. So we can leverage at least the RF conducted testing from the module by asking to vendor to provide this report, okay, to share. Normally, the module vendor used to support customer with this, okay, because at the end of the day, it's their business, okay. The second option I was talking before is the notified body, is to request a certificate. Here, what we do is to add one independent third party in the evaluation. This third party is a recognized party by European Commission as a notified body. For instance, NECRA is notified body for this directive. Basically, vendor compiles all the documentation, sends to the notified body reviews the documentation, reviews the testing, reviews that everything has been done correctly, and issue a certificate. This certificate is like a proof of compliance, okay? But again, the vendor must sign a declaration of conformity, because the final, always in Europe, the final responsible of a product is the vendor, okay? Is how the European Union specifies this legal framework, okay? In this case, will happen the same. If we have an embedded module, the notified body will request the information about the module. It does not mean that the vendor must provide it directly to the notified body, because sometimes the notified body requests documentation which is a little bit, let's say, critical, or they ask for the schematics, they ask for bill of materials of the module, and module vendor used to be a little bit reluctant to share this kind of information, because at the end of the day, they know how. But the notified body is a third party independent, so but the module vendor can send directly the documentation to notified body, and notified body will not share with the integrator, okay? But need it to analyze and review that everything is okay. Well, US regulations. In US, all the regulation is specified in Code of Federal Regulation number 47. This code can be divided in two parts, let's say. One part is the technical requirements for testing, is the typical FCC Part 15B, or the RF technical requirements like 15C for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and non-licensed products, or Part 22, 24, 27, 19 for cellular products. And all here is all the, let's say, test spec for testing. And in Part 2, there are, the FCC specifies the compliance procedures, okay? Basically, we have to divide the compliance procedure in two parts. The first part is for the unintentional radiator. It's the part subject to a, let's say, non-radio product side. And the other part is related with intentional radiator. It's basically a transmitter, a radio product, okay? It's important to know, this is not dividing the kind of the device, okay? It's dividing the kind of approval process. Basically, a radio product, think about, for instance, in a Bluetooth sensor, it might be subject to different procedures. It shall be unintentional radiator because it's a radio product, but at the same time, it's unintentional radiator because apart from the Bluetooth, it has a lot of electronics surrounding, and this is electronic. It's unintentional radiator that is radiating, emitting, let's say, noise to the space. So it's also subject to this procedure. Okay, when it comes to, basically, we can do a quick division. Is unintentional radiator is the part from EMC approval, intentional radiator is the part for RF approval. Although it is not totally correctly, we can differentiate following this difference, okay? When I'm talking about unintentional radiator, I have two options for approval. It's supplier declaration of conformity or certification. When I select supplier declaration of conformity, it's basically pretty similar than in European case. I perform the testing, compile the results, maintain my technical documentation, and sign a declaration. The key point here is that the supplier declaration of conformity must be signed by a responsible party located in US. It must be present. This responsible party can be the importer, the retailer, the seller, the manufacturer, but must be located in US. And the TCB is the certification when you go to a certification body, like in parallel could be in Europe, the notified body. You need to go to a TCB, declare TCB, provide the results the TCB reanalyze and give you the certificate, and this certificate is uploaded to FCC database and you get the FCC ID, okay? When I'm integrating an approved module, it's quite likely, or if I follow all the integrations conditions that the module vendor described in the documentation, I can leverage the radio part, okay, and reuse, let's say, the module certification, and do not need to do the radio certification and avoid the TCB. But at the same time, I have to do the EMC testing and compile with the unintentional radiator part. This can be done by declaration of conformity or by certification. Okay. The procedure for declaration of conformity: test the equipment, basically testing FCC Part 15B, compile the documentation, and sign the declaration. Again, quite important, need to be located in US. You need to have a local representative or something like that if you are imported, okay? Key point here is when you are integrating a module is to make sure we can leverage the radio approval from the module following the module integration condition. Basically, when the condition of modules can be divided in three major requirements. The first one is the antenna. Depending if it is a cellular module, licensed transmitter, or let's say Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, non-licensed transmitter, the conditions are a little bit different. For licensed transmitter, the condition is the antenna gain. The antenna gain must be lower than antenna gain specified in module certificates. For unlicensed transmitter like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, the antenna type must be the same as used in testing, and antenna gain lower than antenna used in testing. Okay. The second major condition is the RF exposure condition. Is how I'm going to use the final equipment. If the final equipment, the module is to be approved to be used in mobile RF exposure condition. It means that the device must be located more than 20 centimeters far away from the user. For instance, if I'm building a gateway using a cellular module, it shall be more than 20 centimeters far away, and I will fulfill this condition. However, if I will be, for instance, developing a wearable device for, I don't know, measuring the heart rate, for instance, with a Wi-Fi module, this module will be located less than 20 centimeters. So this condition for RF exposure conditions shall not be fulfilled. We will see later what we do in these cases, okay? But I can advance you. You are not fulfilling, and you will need to modify the certificate, and you cannot fully leverage. Let's go to the first case. I can fully leverage everything. The procedure that I can do is perform EMC testing, and the simplest one is to do the self-declaration of conformity. If I do not have a responsible party in US, I have two options. One is to look for a partner to sign, that for instance, we at DECRA can provide local representative services in US, or go to a TCB and perform the certification procedure for the EMC part only, okay? When I have a radio product and I'm not using a module, I have no other option to approve the radio part using a TCB. It means you have to perform testing, and you have to perform all the procedure, which the cost is higher compared with if you are using an approved module, okay? What I was telling you, what happens when you're not fulfilling the condition? For instance, the device is located less than 20 centimeters and you're using an approved module. You will probably need to do SAR testing, because the module needs to be evaluated the effect of the radio exposure to the human body. In this case, you perform the testing, and it is necessary to perform a Class 2 permissive change to include this SAR evaluation in the module certificate. This will request the collaboration of module vendor, either to transfer the grant to vendor or to apply for the Class 2 permissive change on behalf of the integrators, okay? And this is pretty quick, but overview. Any question is welcome. I know that probably you have many questions, because this topic needs several times, okay, but try to cover the most critical points. Thank you, and questions are welcome.